Boom. Just like that, Chevrolet didn't just shake the car market, they blew it up. In a move no one saw coming, GM's golden child has fired a shot so disruptive, the entire auto industry is scrambling to catch its breath. Prices flipped, competitors panicked, and the future of the American car might have just changed overnight. What did Chevy announce? Why is it shaking the foundations of the global auto industry? Buckle up, this ride is just getting started. Chevrolet's latest announcement has done more than just make headlines. It's fundamentally disrupted the status quo of the automotive industry. At a press conference that seemed routine at first, GM's crown jewel unveiled a triple-punch strategy that left both analysts and rival automakers reeling. First, Chevrolet confirmed that it would slash prices across its entire EV lineup by as much as 30%, making electric vehicles more accessible than ever before to the average American family. This bold price adjustment isn't just a minor correction. It's a direct attack on Tesla's Model 3, Hyundai's Ioniq 5, and even Ford's Mach-E. Second, Chevrolet revealed a completely redesigned, next-generation $25,000 electric vehicle built on the Ultium platform that promises affordability without sacrificing performance, tech, or reliability. And third, in a move that few anticipated, Chevy stunned muscle car fans by announcing the revival of two legendary nameplates, the Chevelle SS and Impala. This time, reimagined as high-performance hybrids. This wasn't just a product showcase. It was a declaration of war. In one 30-minute event, Chevy proved they're not just playing catch-up anymore. They're rewriting the rules of the game. For years, consumers have been promised a truly affordable EV. Tesla flirted with the idea, Chinese automakers teased it, and startups tried and failed, but none have delivered a compelling, fully electric vehicle that could reach the masses without compromise. Until now, enter the new Chevrolet Bolt EUV 2.0, a compact crossover that will reportedly cost under $25,000, come equipped with 300 miles of range, and include cutting-edge tech like Super Cruise, wireless smartphone integration, and DC fast-charging capability. Built on GM's flexible Ultium battery platform, this new Bolt isn't just a reboot, it's a complete reinvention. Chevy is targeting everyone from first-time EV buyers to city commuters and young families, with a package that challenges the notion that EVs are only for tech-savvy elites or coastal urbanites. And this isn't some far-off pipe dream or prototype sitting behind velvet ropes. It's already in development, with production slated to begin in early 2026 at a U.S.-based plant, ensuring it qualifies for federal tax credits. What Chevy is doing here goes beyond pricing. They're signaling a cultural shift. They're bringing electric mobility back to the working and middle class. And in doing so, they may finally trigger the EV adoption wave America has been waiting for. In a world where electric is the buzzword and gas is often treated like a four-letter word, Chevrolet has made a bold, almost rebellious move, bringing back iconic American muscle, but this time in hybrid form. The return of the Chevelle SS and Impala is not just a nostalgia play. It's a calculated move designed to tap into the large and underserved market of drivers who still love the sound, feel, and style of traditional cars, but who also want better fuel economy and cleaner emissions. The new Chevelle SS isn't your grandfather's dragster. It's being built with a twin-turbo V6 hybrid setup, delivering over 500 horsepower, 40-plus mpg fuel economy, and modern performance features like adaptive suspension and advanced traction control. Meanwhile, the Impala returns not as a bloated full-size sedan, but as a sleek, upscale hybrid cruiser designed to go head-to-head with the Toyota Crown and Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Chevy understands that the EV revolution won't happen overnight, and millions of buyers are still wary of range anxiety, charging infrastructure, or simply don't want to give up the feel of a combustion engine. These hybrids are a bridge between the past and future, a way to keep enthusiasts engaged, offer performance that excites, and meet increasingly tough emission standards all at once. It's proof that muscle isn't dead, it's just evolving. The fallout from Chevrolet's announcement was immediate and far-reaching. Within hours, stock prices for GM began to surge, while smaller EV startups like Lucid and Fisker saw dips as investors questioned their ability to compete. Tesla, often known for its agility and boldness, remained quiet, perhaps caught off guard or unwilling to react too hastily. Ford, which has been carefully balancing its electric push with a continued focus on hybrids and ICE trucks, now finds itself in an awkward middle ground. Not aggressive enough on EV pricing, and not nostalgic enough to compete with the Chevelle revival. Even Toyota, long seen as the hybrid king, is under pressure. Though their Crown and Prius models remain popular, they're now being challenged directly on style, performance, and price. This isn't just market disruption, it's strategic dislocation. Chevy is changing the conversation from, "Can you afford to go electric?" to "Why wouldn't you?" Their price cuts are forcing a pricing realignment across the industry, and their hybrid resurrection is sparking new debate about what the future of driving should actually look like. Some automakers are going to scramble to respond. Others will try to copy. But one thing is certain. Chevy just pulled the pin on a competitive grenade, and the ripple effect is global. If you're in the market for a car, whether you're upgrading your daily driver, buying your first EV, or just trying to survive the brutal pricing of today's auto landscape, this is a massive win. Chevy's announcement puts downward pressure on prices across the board. Other manufacturers will have to respond, which means more deals, better financing, and possibly the end of the absurd markups we've seen since the pandemic. For EV skeptics, the new Bolt EUV offers a low-risk entry point. Affordable, practical, and backed by a trusted American brand. For enthusiasts and traditionalists, the hybrid Chevelle and Impala mean you don't have to choose between your love of performance and your need for efficiency. And perhaps most importantly, this announcement represents a return to sanity in a market that has been spiraling with overpriced, over-engineered, and overcomplicated vehicles. Chevy is speaking directly to real people again. Those who just want a reliable, stylish, fun-to-drive car that doesn't break the bank. So whether you're a gearhead, a budget-conscious buyer, or just someone who's sick of being priced out of the market, this move by Chevrolet could change your buying decisions and possibly your entire view of what modern cars should be. For the past decade, General Motors, and Chevrolet in particular, has been on the receiving end of relentless criticism. Tech media wrote them off. Wall Street labeled them as a legacy dinosaur. And after the Chevrolet Volt was retired and the original Bolt faced battery fire recalls, the internet meme machine crowned GM as too slow, too outdated, too confused to compete with the likes of Tesla or even Hyundai. But now, tables turned. This announcement wasn't just a product strategy, it was personal. It was a revenge arc. GM is showing the world that it didn't die, it evolved. With the Ultium platform finally rolling out at scale, a reorganized EV supply chain, and a clearer vision that blends affordability, technology, and performance, Chevrolet has repositioned itself as not just relevant, but aggressively competitive. This wasn't a last-ditch effort. This was a statement. You laughed. Now watch us lead. This announcement didn't just land in the boardrooms of competing automakers. It echoed across Capitol Hill. By promising that its next-generation EVs, including the sub-$25K Bolt, will be made in America, Chevrolet is directly aligning itself with U.S. political narratives around onshoring, union jobs, and industrial revival. With elections around the corner and both parties pushing domestic manufacturing and EV adoption, Chevy's move sends a strong message. We're the car company for working Americans. The timing is no accident. Chevy is betting that being affordable, homegrown, and technologically advanced will win both customers and political goodwill. And let's not forget, those manufacturing tax credits and federal incentives for U.S.-made EVs, they could make that $25,000 price tag even lower. This isn't just business strategy, it's economic patriotism wrapped in steel, lithium, and horsepower. Chevrolet's bombshell won't just rattle American automakers. It could have global consequences. In China, automakers like BYD and NIO have been flooding their domestic market and preparing for expansion into Europe with low-cost EVs. Chevy's move undercuts their primary weapon, price. And it does so while promoting American-built credibility. In Europe, where cities are banning gas engines and pushing mass electrification, a $25,000 electric crossover with decent range and tech could be very appealing, especially if GM decides to reintroduce the Chevrolet brand more forcefully in global markets. Meanwhile, traditional European manufacturers like Volkswagen and Renault are suddenly looking at stiff new competition in the budget EV segment. This announcement could trigger a global price war in the EV space. The auto arms race isn't just about horsepower anymore. It's about affordability, access, and scalability. And right now, Chevrolet just launched the first missile. Let's talk tech. At the heart of this strategy is General Motors' long-touted but often underappreciated Ultium battery platform. For years, GM claimed Ultium would be the modular, scalable solution to its EV future, but delays, recalls, and rollout confusion dulled the hype. Now, this announcement puts Ultium front and center, not just as a platform for luxury EVs like the Cadillac Lyriq or GMC Hummer, but as a cost-cutting engine that can power mainstream cars. If Chevy can deliver 300 miles of range, advanced driver assistance, and fast charging at this price point, Ultium goes from unfulfilled promise to industry-changing reality. And the fact that it's flexible enough to support everything from the tiny Bolt EUV to a muscular hybrid Chevelle hints at a secret GM weapon finally ready for war. Don't be surprised if this becomes a turning point not just for Chevy, but for GM's entire global platform strategy. Let's zoom way out. The American car industry has been teetering on the edge, caught between rising labor costs, global supply chain struggles, falling sedan sales, and a brutal transition to electrification that many couldn't afford to get wrong. Ford had been weighed down by warranty issues and software delays. Stellantis seems more focused on Jeep apparel than hybrid engines. And Tesla, though dominant, is increasingly alienating a mainstream audience. Chevrolet's move may just reset the narrative, from American automakers being slow dinosaurs to bold, relevant innovators. If they can pull this off, it won't just save their own brand. It might actually revive public trust in American auto manufacturing itself. We're not just talking about a new car here. We're talking about a blue-collar comeback wrapped in lithium cells and old-school swagger. For years, Chevrolet struggled with a reputation problem. Younger buyers called the brand boring. Longtime loyalists felt abandoned during the early EV transition. And while trucks like the Silverado kept sales afloat, Chevy lost ground in sedans, crossovers, and electric innovation. But with this announcement, Chevy isn't just launching new models, it's winning hearts back. By bringing back iconic names like the Chevelle and Impala, they're tapping into generational loyalty and raw nostalgia. At the same time, the promise of a $25,000 EV that doesn't feel cheap is a huge nod to millennials and Gen Z drivers priced out of both gas and electric options. This move feels like a brand realignment. Chevy is no longer trying to chase luxury buyers or compete toe-to-toe with startups. It's reclaiming its roots, building cars for regular people who want to drive something exciting, affordable, and American. That emotional connection could be the most powerful result of all. Here's something the mainstream headlines won't say, but it's a big deal. Chevy's dealer network just got a lifeline. While Tesla and Rivian continue to bypass traditional dealerships with direct-to-consumer sales, and Ford deals with growing dealer tension over EV investments, Chevrolet's affordable, widely distributed EV strategy brings franchise dealers back into the spotlight. These cars aren't internet-only experiments. They're going to sit on real lots, test-driven by real buyers, with real financing options. Chevy is empowering its dealer base to sell affordable EVs without needing Silicon Valley-level infrastructure. And when customers can compare a $25,000 Bolt EUV next to a used RAV4 or a $50,000 Model Y, guess what's going to start flying off the lot? This is a tactical win for dealers, a strategic win for accessibility, and a cultural win for American car buying habits that still revolve around in-person trust and local service. Chevy's aggressive, new pricing strategy won't just affect new car buyers. It will send shockwaves through the entire used car economy. Over the past few years, used EV prices have remained stubbornly high due to limited supply and inflated demand. That's about to change. When a brand new Bolt EUV is priced below $25,000 with 300 miles of range, buyers will think twice before paying $22,000 for a used Leaf or $28,000 for a 3-year-old Model 3. The floor is about to collapse under used EVs and even gas-powered compacts. And that's not a bad thing for consumers. It means the average driver, especially young or budget-conscious ones, finally has leverage. It also forces automakers to rethink residual value and long-term product support. Resale dynamics are changing, and Chevy just lit the fuse. We talk a lot about electric cars being clean, but many of them haven't truly lived up to the promise of sustainable affordability. Expensive materials, limited access, and overseas manufacturing have made EVs less green than advertised, especially when the only buyers who can afford them are upper-income urbanites. That's why Chevy's plan is so revolutionary. By localizing battery production, building cars in unionized U.S. factories, and focusing on mass affordability, Chevy's EV lineup is closer to true environmental justice than anything Tesla, Rivian, or even Ford has offered. A $25,000 EV that the average worker can own and charge cheaply at home? That's what real climate solutions look like, not $80,000 trucks that take up 2 lanes and need their own power grid. Chevy is saying the quiet part out loud. Sustainability only matters when everyone can participate. This announcement also reveals something even bigger than just Chevrolet's strategy. It's a window into GM's soul. Under Mary Barra's leadership, General Motors has been promising an all-electric future, but those promises felt distant, corporate, and often disconnected from real buyer needs. Now, we're seeing execution over aspiration. The Ultium platform isn't just a buzzword anymore. The product pipeline is real. The pricing is aggressive. And the innovation is grounded in accessibility, not tech flexing. This move signals that GM has learned from its stumbles, is listening to the market, and is ready to lead with clarity and confidence. The decisions Chevy is making now about pricing, powertrain diversity, and legacy brand revivals are a roadmap not just for its own division, but for the entire General Motors ecosystem. Cadillac, Buick, and GMC will likely follow suit. This could be the pivot point where GM stops reacting to the market and starts defining it. Within hours of the announcement, the automotive media landscape went into total overdrive. Major outlets from Motor Trend to CNBC, even The Verge and Reuters, scrambled to rewrite their headlines and revise their EV forecasts. Influencers and YouTubers flooded social media with hot takes, calling it the shot heard around the auto world. Even die-hard Tesla fans admitted, Chevy might have just changed the game. Why? Because the media hasn't had a real underdog-to-disruptor story in years. Chevy, long considered the safe or boring option, just delivered a tech, price, and product combination that no one else has. And while some critics are cautiously optimistic, warning that GM still has to deliver, the tone has already shifted. This isn't just hype. The media is beginning to treat Chevrolet as the new benchmark for mass-market EV viability. That kind of narrative shift doesn't happen often, and when it does, it leaves a permanent mark on the buying public. Let's be clear, this wasn't a safe play. Chevy could have kept its EVs expensive. They could have kept their muscle cars dead. They could have played it slow and safe. But instead, they chose chaos in the smartest possible way. By slashing prices, reviving iconic models, and entering a brewing EV pricing war, Chevy is betting everything on relevance. It's high risk, high reward. If their factories can't meet demand, or if quality control stumbles, this could blow up in their face. But if they nail execution, this becomes one of the boldest comebacks in auto history. It shows that GM is tired of letting Tesla, Toyota, and Hyundai dictate the future. This is a moment where legacy meets bravery. And honestly, it's exactly the kind of risk the industry needs right now. Unlike other brands chasing fully autonomous tech, insane acceleration, or hyperscreens that look like spaceship cockpits, Chevrolet took a different path with this announcement. Tech that actually matters. Super Cruise isn't just for marketing. It works. Wireless phone integration? Standard. Simple user interface? You got it. Chevy's focus isn't on wowing you with a demo. It's on making tech feel normal, usable, and helpful in your daily life. This approach is tech for the 99%, not the 1%. No gimmicks, no subscription fees to unlock basic functions. It's almost a philosophical difference between Chevy and its rivals. While other companies build rolling computers, Chevy's building cars people can live with. In that simplicity lies massive appeal. The return of the Chevelle SS and Impala isn't just a nostalgia grab. It's a redefinition of American performance. For years, muscle cars were viewed as relics. Gas-guzzling, outdated, and environmentally irresponsible. But with hybridization and smarter design, Chevy is flipping the script. These new muscle cars offer power without guilt, speed without sacrifice, and emotion without compromise. They blend instant torque from electric motors with a rumble of turbocharged engines, creating an experience that could revive an entire culture of driving. Young drivers who never got to experience the golden age of muscle might finally get a taste. Except this time, it's efficient, advanced, and future-ready. Chevy's not just bringing back models. They're reigniting a movement. Years from now, this might be the case study every MBA student reads under the title, How a Legacy Brand Disrupted an Entire Industry in One Announcement. What makes Chevy's move so rare is that it defies both corporate conservatism and tech sector overreach. It wasn't a wild innovation play or a timid budget cut. It was strategic boldness. Chevy leveraged its heritage, restructured its cost base, leaned into flexible tech, and spoke directly to the neglected center of the market. No gimmicks, just vision and action. That kind of clarity is something automakers and many corporations have completely forgotten how to do. If this works, it will be the blueprint for brand reinvention across every major sector, not just automotive.